Hello. Today we need a strap, 2 blocks, and a blanket. We will start on our backs. Have your strap right next to you, and the blocks we'll need a little later. Okay. So make your way down to your back. And bring one hand to your chest, one hand to your belly. And at first, take a moment to settle in. Even just the act of getting down onto the floor may have your heart rate up a little bit, may have your breathing at a little bit less than natural pace. So allow these first several breaths to let your body regulate itself. Once your breathing is at a pace that you feel easy and comfortable with, stay with that pace. Not changing anything. Just receiving the next breath and the next breath. That was a thing that I listened to on a podcast the other day. I'm such a yoga nerd. I just listen, if I'm not practicing yoga, I'm listening to yoga podcasts or reading yoga books. So it was talking about pranayama and sort of shifting the mind from taking the next breath to receiving. And that automatically, for me, makes it feel more thoughtful, mindful, yogic. And kind of takes the violence is too strong a word, I think, but rather than taking, allowing and receiving. This seems like a nicer way of going about it. Once that's established, feel your heels, your calves, the back of your thighs, your pelvis, your spine wherever it's in contact, the back of your arms, your shoulders, the back of the head. Finding this place of groundedness, where these last few, I was going to say last few days, but you could also say weeks, months, years, have been maybe chaotic outside of our normal routine. So finding this place in the center. 2 more breaths.
And if you can do it, if your eyes are closed and you can do it with your eyes closed, find your strap. And we've done this enough Supta Padangusthasana that I'm not entirely sure that you need your eyeballs for this. So if you can, keep your eyes closed as you bring the ball of your right foot into the strap. And at first, keep your left knee bent, foot flat on the mat, so that both sides, both halves of your pelvis are both tilting the same way. When we stretch the leg out long, we kind of have the leg lifted side in a posterior tilt, and then the leg long on the floor side in an anterior tilt. And it may or may not cause some confusion in your hips and low back. But we will, for today, just take this really simple and easy. And as you grip the strap, let your arms be heavy. And with each exhale, maybe your shoulders and your arms get even a little heavier. And you may get a little feedback from the back of your leg as your arms pull down a little bit. Take 2 more breaths, or receive 2 more breaths. Switch your strap into your left hand. Keep the left knee bent. Let's just keep it that way the whole time through these. And just notice how it feels when the hips move together. It may be less of a stretch, but maybe a little more harmonious in your body. Take your right leg across to the left. Maybe your foot rests on the floor, maybe it doesn't. Maybe you feel like popping a block under your right foot. And bring your right arm to where you want it to be. Extending it out to the side can add a little bit of interest, or even up on the diagonal can be something even more different. As long as you can maintain this steady, even, easy breath. One more breath. Roll back to your back, right foot up, left knee up. Switch the strap into your right hand. As you open the right leg out to the side, open the left knee out to the other side. If it feels okay within your hips. If it doesn't, leave the left knee up. You might just fall over. We kind of use the left knee to the left as a counterbalance. My right foot is actually resting on the wall. I wouldn't call it cheating. It sure does make it a whole lot easier. But I'm still getting an opening in the inner thigh, which is what we're after. And back up to center. Switch the left into the strap. Right foot flat on the mat, knee bent. Maybe eyes are still closed. Maybe not. Maybe you had to take a peek. even though we've done this 1,000,000 times. Seems like we maybe have to take a little look and make sure we're doing it. So again, with the grip on the strap and the heavy arms, maybe your toes come a little closer to your face, or your heel comes a little higher toward the ceiling. And strap into the right hand, left foot comes across and maybe to the floor. Maybe dangling, and left arm goes where you want. This is actually kind of great with my foot resting on the wall, because then I can move my hips, like my left hip down and away and sort of tailbone back. And it kind of gives me some leverage to get into the hip. And it's less work for my arm. So that might be interesting to try. You can still do those things with the hip and just have a little more pull on the strap. One more breath. Back into center. Straps in the left hand. Left leg out to the left, maybe right knee out to the right, or pointing straight up. And as much as you're able, let the pelvic floor, the inner thighs, the low back kind of soften, and really let the left arm be doing the work of this. Maybe a little bit of belly too. I don't know if you can completely disengage in those areas. I mean, they're all attached, but with the idea of allowing them to soften. And one more breath. Back into center. Both feet come down. You can move your strap out of the way. Take a nice, big, long, luxurious stretch. Maybe roll your wrists and ankles. Flex your feet. Pull your knees into your chest. Rock and roll your way up to seated and then to tabletop. And we'll use the strap in a little bit. We don't need it right this very moment. But grab your blocks and put them tall. So we're in this kind of tilted tabletop. Nothing would ever stay on our table. It would slide off the back. Press into the blocks and into the top of the feet and find a cat in this position. It might not be all that satisfying, but just check it out anyway. And belly down, chin up, cow. That may actually feel better to me than one on just hands and knees. Try that a couple times. Exhale, round. And maybe push back a little bit in that cat. You might be able to get a little more intensity there if that's what you're after. Belly down, chin up. Exhale, round. And chin up. Step your right foot in between the blocks. And come to a low lunge with the knee and the back still down, supported with the hands. Turn your back toes under, straighten your legs. So we wind up in a higher lunge. Take an inhale, reach your heart forward. Exhale, hips shift back. Leave your toes and the ball of your foot on the mat, like press the right big toe mound, or the right big toe, down onto the mat and drag your left hip forward. Woo! See what that does. If it interests you, leave the left hand on the block, right fingertips up to the sky. And then right hand comes down. Step back to your tabletop. You can move the blocks out of the way or leave them there. Hips come back. Hands come off the block. Child's pose. 2 big wide breaths into your back body. And make your way back up and come to hero just briefly so that we can roll wrists in any way you see fit here. Maybe hands clasp and roll around together, or separately, open hands and fists. Bring your hands to your blocks again. This time the left foot steps forward. Shift hips forward into a low lunge. Turn your back toes under, straighten your back leg. Heart comes forward. Inhale. Exhale, hips shift back, and then again, press the ball mound on the left big toe. There, I said it correctly that time. Down into the mat, and toes too, if they will. Then drag the right hip forward. That may change the whole story. And then if it interests you, and if you did it on the other side, right hand stays down, left fingertips up. Exhale, both hands down, both knees down. Move your blocks out of the way. Send your strap to the back of the mat. Come up into downward facing dog. Pedal that, move that, sway side to side. And walk hands back into your forward fold. A nice deep knee bend in the forward fold. Heavy arms, head and shoulders. Belly and chest resting on the thighs. A couple nice big breaths here. Maybe a little traction for the spine. Before you come up, grab your strap. Inhale, halfway lift.
Exhale, fold. Inhale, mountain. Don't let the buckle hit you in the head. And hands to heart center. And we'll take the same actions, only this time we will have a straight other leg. So we'll send the right ball of the foot into the strap. Before you go anywhere, find your balance. Maybe find your eye gaze on something not moving. A soft bend in the knee and balance on the ball and the heel. Send your right foot forward. Stand up tall. So if you're going to compromise something here, and it's not really a compromise anyway, but if something's got to give, let it be the height of your leg rather than the curve of your spine. So we want the spine to be long and tall, and the height of the leg matters almost none at all. Switch the strap into your left hand. Pull the leg across the body. Keep the same eye gaze. Often we'll send the right hand out to the right and change the eye gaze. Just keep it today. Switch into your right hand, open out to the side. But still definitely use that opposite arm for a counter. Draw back into the center, release the strap, come back to standing. Send your arms out to the side and up, inhale. Maybe eye gaze comes up in between the palms. Soft knees, long spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way back into standing. Hands to heart center. And then left foot goes into the strap. And oftentimes we rush through that second side since we already know what's happening. Let's give it time, the time that it deserves. So the strap comes around the ball of the foot. We find the balance. We find the eye gaze. We soften the standing leg and find the whole foot on the mat. Extend the left leg. Stand up tall. Sometimes the second side is easier. Wow, this wall is such my friend today. Sometimes the second side is easier because it's been mapped, and other times it just isn't. Settle your eye gaze. Settle your center. Keep the eye gaze. Shift the straps into the right hand. Pull across your body. Using that left arm for the balance if you need it or want it. Switch into the left hand. Left foot out to the side. Maybe right arm out to counter. And we notice all kinds of things. On this side, it might just be a whole lot harder. And I may just be projecting on you, but wow, it just burns so much more on this side today.
That's my experience. Your experience might be totally different. Come back to center, lower yourself down. Get rid of your strap. Send your arms out to the side. Inhale. Take hold of your left wrist. Find a little half moon to the right. Inhale, center, half moon to the left. Inhale, center, cactus, the arms back, eye gaze up, hips forward, but some length in the low back still. Inhale, up. Soft knees, long spine, swan dive down. Inhale, halfway left. Exhale, fold. Walk out to your plank. Breath in your plank. Inhale. Exhale as knees come down to the mat and hips come back. Child's pose. 2 full breaths. Come back into your tabletop. Walk your knees over to the right side of your mat so that your hips can come down. Come to seated, come to your back. One heel toward each corner of your mat and a slow roll down. As slow as you can manage, tilt the tail. Place each bone. And when you arrive, a big inhale. And an open mouth exhale. Bring one hand to your belly, one hand to your chest. Let your heart rate slow, your breath rate slow. And count off 5 breaths. When you have finished, send your arms overhead, toes way down to the other end of the mat. Pull your knees into your chest. Roll to your side. And press up to seated. We'll reach out. We'll reach up. We'll inhale. Exhale, pull hands to heart center. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace.